Forensic investigation report and forensic tools. This is the smallest unit in digital forensics. Explain the goals of report writing. Report writing is necessary to ensure that a repeatable standard is met by an organization. The report should follow some particular goals, like it should accurately describe the details of an incident. It should be understandable to the decision makers. It should be unambiguous and open to misinterpretations. It should offer valid conclusion, opinion, irons when needed. Explain the layout of an investigative report. This question comes for 10 marks. Here, we will be mentioning what all things should be included into a report. So the first thing that should be included is the executive summary. Mostly the senior management team don't read the complete report, they only read the executive summary. That's why the executive summary should be precise, but it should contain all the important details like who has authorized the forensic examination, why forensic examination was necessary, the relevant findings, signature blocks of the examiners, and so on. Next section is objectives. This section outlines all the tasks that the investigation intended to accomplish. What all things the investigator should complete should be listed in this section. Next, computer evidence analyzed. All the evidence that are collected and investigation is done on those should be listed into this section. So this section consists of some assignments of evidence tag number, media serial number, and the description. The next section is relevant findings. Once the examiners do the analysis of a particular case, many of the relevant findings come up. So this section lists all the relevant findings. While listing the relevant finding, the hierarchy is from high level decisions to the low level decisions. As we have already seen, all the decision makers and senior management team don't go read the complete report. The same way, relevant findings also, important relevant findings should be listed first so that the decision makers can make or come up with some decisions. Supporting details. Some more detailed things that should be added to the relevant finding can be listed into these sections, like table listing of full details, path names of important files, string search result, email things that may help or give some additional thing to the relevant findings are considered as supporting details. Next is investigative leads. Now there may be chances like if some more additional time or resources were provided to the examiners would have come up with some better evidence and some results. So what all things would have been improved can be put up into the investigative lead if some more time and resources were provided to the examiners. Next and the last section is additional report subsection. And this is not a mandatory section. This section varies depending upon case to case. If there is a case in which the examination deals with the methodology of the attacker, how the attacker has dealt with the case, it can be listed here, or a web browser history or some other recommendations, those can be listed into this section. So these are the 7 sections that should be mentioned into the report. Next question is explain guidelines for writing a report. This is also a 10 marks question. In the previous question, we have seen what is the content of a report. Now here, these are some points that the examiner should consider while writing a particular report. So the first one is document investigative step immediately and clearly. The examiner should not wait to complete the case and then start writing the report. The documentation part should start immediately as soon as the case is taken. While doing the documentation part, some important things to be considered is that the examiner should not use the shortcuts and unclear notation should be avoided, some scribbling and unclear documentation should be avoided. Next point is know the goals of your analysis. The examiner should be clear about the goals, then only the report will be precise and meaningful. Next point, organize your report. As we have seen, the higher ups only read the previous things. So while putting up the content into the report, the content should be from macros to micros. That means the more important and relevant content should come first and then the other things. Follow a template. Always follow a standardized template, or the examination team should have a proper layout. That's what we have seen into the previous question. If a layout is there, what all things should be there into the report, it will be easier to analyze. Use consistent identifier. Sometimes there may be a confusion created in a report by referring to an item in a different ways, such as a computer can be sometimes referred as a system or PC, box, victim system, web server, and so on. So to avoid such type of confusion while reading a report, there should be a use of consistent identifier. There should be a one word to refer a particular item throughout the report. Next, use attachment and appendices. To maintain the flow of the report, it is a good practice to use attachment for all the files, file fragments that may take more than one page to be attached. So all these can be attached later on as an attachment. Next, have co-workers read your report. Whenever a particular examiner is writing the analysis or the reports to the thing, it is his perspective. It is always better to make your report to be read by the co-workers and other non-technical people, so that it should be clear whether they are able to understand and gather the opinions and views. So whatever they think can also be included into it. Use MD5 hashes. Whether it is an entire hard drive or particular file, it is always a good practice to use MD5 hashes for all the things, for the drive, for files, for the records, everything, because it gives the authenticity of the data collected. Include metadata. Record and include metadata of every file. At what time the investigation started, what was the date, time, full path of the time, file size, MD5 sum details, everything should be included into the report, so that the report should be, the examiners from their end are clear at what time the examination started, at what time it get ended, and these were the relevant findings. So these are some guidelines for the examiners while writing the reports, and it should be followed. Now the next question is explain forensic investigation tools. There are different forensic investigation tools. Like some common tools I am putting up here. Like for data analysis, there are a number of tools. For forensic duplication, there are a number of tools that we have already seen. So few tools I am listing here. Apart from these also, other tools can be mentioned for this question. Autopsy. Autopsy is a GUI based open source digital forensic program to analyze hard drives and smartphones effectively. With Autopsy, we can analyze the emails, file type detection can be done, media playback, registry analysis, photo recovery from memory card, geolocation attractions, timeline analysis, extract data from Android. As this Autopsy can be done also for the mobile phones. So all the SMS, call logs, contacts can be extracted. An extensive report can also be generated in the HTML format or XSL format. So Autopsy, a complete tool from data analysis to extraction, and for report formation also it can be used. Next is SANSIFT. SANSIFT is SANS investigative forensic tool. It comes with a pre-configured set of tools, and it is Ubuntu based system. So it supports some evidence formats such as DD, NCase formatting, AFF. All these formats are easily supported, and any data in this particular format can be collected and analyzed. For downloading and installing of this VMware, the system should have a good RAM, CPU, hard disk, and so on. Also for installing the SIFT ISO images required. The logging details which is required for the first time is the username can be provided and Sense Forensic, and the password is forensics. As it is already mentioned, it consists of a number of pre-configured tools. So some of them are DFF, Event Log Viewer, Malteco, Autopsy, PTK and MD5D. So these are some of the tools that are already present with this toolkit. This toolkit also, it has provide all the facility starting from taking the data, duplicating it and analyzing the data and the creation of reports. And this is the last tool which I'll be mentioning, Moonsource Windows Memory Toolkit. Memory forensic tools are used to acquire or analyze a computer's volatile memory. They are often used in incident response situation to preserve evidence in the memory that would be lost when a system is shut down. It supports memory acquisition for both 32 and 64 versions of various Windows like XP, 2008, Vista, and for all the Windows things. Now what all can be done with this toolkit? It supports hashing with MD5, SHA1, SHA256. It can also map memory in 3 different ways depending upon the device physical memory, and it can convert full memory dumps to Microsoft crash dumps, which can then be analyzed using one of the Microsoft debuggers. It can convert hibernation files and crash dumps into raw memory dump, and it can also combine Win32DD-EXE and 64-EXE to provide memory dumps in a single click. So this is what the tool that can be used to take the volatile data from the system, and this is what this particular unit has. Basically the goals of report writing, layout, guidelines and some different investigative tools. Thank you.